Welcome to our journey exploring the mysteries and marvels of one of the most historically, culturally, and socially rich countries in the world, China. With its vast territory and large population, China is not only a leading global economy but also a cradle of major inventions and colorful stories. Join us as we unveil the top 10 fascinating facts about this nation, from the majestic Great Wall to unique policies and a stringent internet censorship system. This will be an enlightening and thrilling journey, giving you a deeper understanding of the ancient yet modern land of China. 1. World's largest population. China was once the world's most populous country, but in 2023, India surpassed China. Currently, China's population stands at approximately 1,425,233,913, placing it second after India, which has 1,440,767,737 people. These numbers may have changed by the time I finish this sentence. In fact, every 3 to 5 seconds, a child, made in China, is born. If all Chinese people were to line up and walk past you, the line would never end. Assuming no new births, it would still take you between 134 to 224 years just to watch the world's longest human queue pass by. With its current population, China accounts for 17.8% of the world's total population. At its peak in 1975, this figure was 22.58%. This means if you randomly picked 5 people in the world at that time, you were almost certain to pick one Chinese. Despite its large population, China is not as crowded as you might think. The country ranks 80th in population density with only about 149 people per km, thanks to being the third largest country in the world with an area of 9,572,900 square kilometers. For perspective, the most densely populated areas in China are Chongqing, Shanghai, and Beijing, with populations of 17.77 million, 29.87 million, and 22.19 million respectively, and population densities of 383, 3,854, and 1,334 people per km. Compared to Manila, Philippines, the city with the highest population density in the world at about 46,178 people per km. These figures show that population distribution in China is quite balanced. This information is referenced from the latest and most reliable sources like the United Nations and Worldometer. These figures highlight not only the vastness and immensity of China's population but also the relatively even distribution and effective urban management. 2. The Great Wall. The Great Wall is not just 10,000 li, about 5,000 kilometers, long, but the entire network of walls and branches extends over 40,000 li, or 21,196 kilometers. The construction of the Great Wall spanned approximately 2,000 years across 4 major dynasties, Qin, Han, Sui, and Ming. Millions participated in its construction, including soldiers, peasants, prisoners, and forced laborers, many of whom sacrificed their lives, earning it the nickname, the world's longest cemetery. It is the largest construction project ever completed by humans. The total materials used in the Great Wall could build a wall 1.5 meters high around the Earth. In 1987, it was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, showcasing its priceless historical and cultural value. It is one of China's most famous tourist attractions, drawing millions of visitors worldwide annually. Originally, the Great Wall was built to protect the territory from attacks by nomadic tribes from the north, especially the Huns. It also served as a military transportation route, facilitating the efficient movement of troops and information. With its immense length and centuries-long construction history, the Great Wall is not only an architectural wonder but also a symbol of the patience, creativity, and sacrifice of the Chinese people through the ages. If you find the Great Wall intriguing, comment below, and we might make a dedicated video about it. 3. One-child policy. The one-child policy was implemented by the Chinese government from 1979 until it was fully replaced by a two-child policy at the end of 2015 and early 2016. Initially introduced to reduce natural resource demands, maintain a stable labor rate, reduce unemployment, and cut surplus labor, couples who had a second child illegally were subject to fines, euphemistically called social maintenance fees, to cover the damages caused by their second child. In 2010 alone, social maintenance fees collected amounted to 20 billion yuan. Approximately $2.8 billion US dollars. Children whose parents did not pay this fee were not issued a birth certificate, were not included in the household registration, could not obtain identification cards, were excluded from the insurance system, and were not allowed to attend school. They were referred to as black children. A 2011 estimate showed that China had about 13 million unacknowledged black children due to this policy. More drastically, many pregnant women who were out of policy and unable to pay the fines were forced to have abortions, often resulting in the mother's death. The Chinese government even forced the placement of IUDs on women who had one child and sterilized women who had two children. Or detained and punished citizens without household registration to set an example for young couples. After over 35 years of implementation, China's restrictive birth policy has shown significant effects. The population growth rate decreased sharply from 2.23% in 1975 to 0.39% in 2018, while the corresponding rate for India was 2.34% and 1.11%. However, the one-child policy also left severe repercussions. During the policy's enforcement, China recorded over 8 million abortions annually and about 10,000 cases of infant abandonment, mostly girls. In 2008 alone, the country recorded 13 million abortions and about 10 million abortion pills were sold. The tradition of valuing males over females led to a sex ratio of 118.9% in 2005, meaning there were 20% more boys than girls. This resulted in a situation where countless young Chinese men will face difficulties finding wives in the next decade, possibly having to marry older women or look to poorer countries to find brides. Interestingly, a professor of economics from Zhejiang University, Mr. Xia Yushi, once suggested that poor rural young men should share a wife. However, this proposal faced strong criticism from the Chinese online community, further demonstrating Chinese ingenuity in circumventing the law. Many have found ways to have children abroad, accessing legal surrogacy services in the USA and some places like Taiwan and South Korea for wealthier families. Or going to the administrative region of Hong Kong to give birth for less affluent couples. Others have used fertility drugs to produce twins, triplets, quads, or quintuplets, which are difficult for the government to control. These measures reflect the cleverness and resourcefulness of the people in overcoming the restrictions of the one-child policy. 4. World's largest military, the People's Liberation Army, PLA, of China is the largest military force in the world, with about 2,183,000 active personnel. The PLA includes the Army, Navy, Air Force, Missile Force, and Strategic Support Troops. Counting reserve forces, India holds the title with 3,537,000 military personnel, including 1,295,100 active duty soldiers. China is second only to the United States in terms of defense spending. In 2023, China's defense budget was about $293 billion, accounting for 1.7% of its GDP. The Chinese Navy has grown significantly in recent years. By 2024, China will have more warships than any other country, with over 300 warships in active service. The Chinese Navy also plans to expand and improve its fleet of submarines, aircraft carriers, and amphibious ships. Additionally, China has built a formidable cyber warfare force, aiming to protect its national internet infrastructure and conduct cyber attack operations. This robust development not only enhances China's defensive capabilities but also asserts its international stature. 5. Internet Censorship System. In 1993, when the Internet was still in its infancy in China, the government launched a large-scale project known as the Golden Shield Project, or more famously, the Great Firewall of China. This is the world's most extensive and powerful monitoring and censorship system. The project operates quite simply but effectively. For foreign websites that can provide, contain, or disseminate harmful information or oppose the Chinese state, the government completely blocks them. As of May 2018, over 8,000 websites were blocked, including Google and all its services, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Wikipedia, WikiLeaks, and major news sites like BBC News. The New York Times, and many others. However, Internet users in China have not been outdone. They use VPNs, virtual private networks, to bypass this censorship. Yet, under government pressure, many VPN service providers have had to shut down, and Apple was forced to remove unauthorized VPN apps in China. For domestic websites, the Chinese government tightly controls everything posted online, from jailing web administrators of reactionary sites to fining those who dare to oppose. Moreover, the government has deployed a commentary army online 24/7 to steer any political topic in a direction favorable to the government. China's cyber police force is said to be the world's largest, with about 2 million people. The most tightly controlled contents include the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests, the Tibetan independence movement, and any information contrary to the government's views. Reporters Without Borders has called China the world's biggest prison for Internet users. However, that doesn't mean the Chinese online space is a scary and boring place. Internet users here still have a strong community, totaling 746,662,194 in 2016, accounting for 53.2% of the world's Internet population. So, what do Chinese use when Facebook, YouTube, and Google are banned? They have Weibo instead of Facebook, WeChat instead of WhatsApp, and Youku instead of YouTube. They also have Baidu, the domestic Google, with services like Baidu Search, Baidu Maps, Baidu Mail. Banning foreign services has allowed domestic businesses to thrive, sharing a market worth about 497 billion yuan, equivalent to $73 billion just in 2018. 6. Gaming console ban. In June 2000, China issued a ban on the sale and use of home gaming consoles such as PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. This ban lasted for 13 years, until it was lifted in 2013. The main reason for the ban was to protect young people from the negative impacts of video games. Despite the ban, an underground gaming market continued to thrive. Chinese consumers found ways to smuggle gaming consoles from abroad or buy them through unofficial channels, creating a black market for gaming devices during the duration of the ban. While home gaming consoles were banned, PC gaming saw significant growth. Internet cafes and gaming venues sprouted everywhere, becoming favorite spots for the youth. Online games like World of Warcraft, League of Legends, and other esports games became widely popular. The ban also stimulated the development of the domestic gaming industry. Companies like Tencent and NetEase seized this opportunity to develop and release many successful online games, not only domestically but also globally. 7. Inventions and Innovations. China has contributed many great inventions and innovations to the world, making significant turning points in human history. One of the most important inventions is paper. Invented by Kai Luan around 105 AD, revolutionizing the storage and transmission of information. Gunpowder, discovered by Chinese alchemists in the 9th century, completely changed warfare with the creation of firepower weapons like cannons and guns. The compass, which appeared around the 2nd century BC, was initially used in feng shui and later became an indispensable tool in navigation, aiding in orientation and exploration of the world. Fireworks, invented around the 9th century, were initially used in festivals and religious ceremonies and have now become an essential part of events and celebrations worldwide. And there are countless other inventions that we cannot list fully here. These Chinese inventions and innovations have not only had a significant impact on the history and culture of the country but have also played a crucial role in the development of humanity. 8. Pandas. China owns all the pandas in the world. There are currently about 1,590 individuals living in the wild according to Wikipedia and 300 individuals in research centers and zoos worldwide. Chinese philosophers often link the universe with two opposing entities, yin and yang. Since 1957, China has started sending pandas as gifts and exhibits to other countries to gain goodwill. However, from 1984, they stopped the gifting program and switched to a panda loan program, with a fee of up to $1 million per year along with a contract lasting about 10 years and possible extensions. All cubs born abroad must be returned to China within the first few years of life. The truth is, all the pandas that China had given away before 1984 have died, as the maximum lifespan of a panda is only about 35 years. 9. Three Gorges Dam. The Three Gorges Dam is the world's largest hydroelectric facility, located on the Yangtze River in Hubei Province, China. With a total installed capacity of 22,500 megawatts, the dam can produce about 84.7 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity each year. 11 times more than the massive Hoover Dam in the U.S. The Three Gorges Dam is approximately 2,335 meters long and 185 meters high. Its reservoir has a capacity of about 39.3 billion cubic meters, equivalent to more than 15 million Olympic swimming pools. The surface area of the reservoir extends to 1,084 square kilometers, stretching across several provinces. Storing such a massive amount of water in the dam's reservoir has altered the mass distribution on the Earth's surface. Building the Three Gorges Dam was like moving approximately 39.3 billion tons of material away from the Earth's axis of rotation, slowing down the Earth's rotation and making the day longer for 8.1 billion people. Fortunately, it's just a tiny bit, estimated at about 0.06 microseconds longer per day. 10. Bai Long Elevator. China is home to the Bai Long Elevator, meaning 100 Dragons Elevator, in Chinese. Recognized in the Guinness World Records as the world's highest outdoor elevator, it stands at 326 meters, helping tourists move from the ground to the top of one of the highest cliffs in the Zhangjiajie Scenic Area, Hunan Province, China. The Bai Long Elevator has 3 transparent cabins, each capable of carrying 50 passengers at a time. Moving at a speed of up to 3 meters per second, the elevator can transport up to 1,380 people per hour. Riding the Bai Long Elevator, visitors can enjoy the breathtaking scenery of the Zhangjiajie area, famous for its huge limestone pillars and majestic landscape. This area also inspired the floating islands in James Cameron's film Avatar. That concludes the 10 interesting facts about China. If you find this video interesting, please comment 1. If not, please comment 0 so we can further improve. For now, goodbye and see you again.